Hey everybody, it's Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to episode 51 of our RuneScape 2007 Road to 100 Mil. At the end of episode 50, I said that I would be finishing up all of these unfinished Ronar potions, and we just have 2 more loads to go up to this one, I believe. Let's just make sure. Yeah, we got 26 to go, which is going to take 2 more loads, which is pretty quick. Don't worry, we're just about done, and we're going to be making a pretty good profit from this. I don't know exactly what this is going to bring our cash stack to. That's a good question. We'll just have to see in a second. It's only going to be like 30 seconds anyway, so making a guess is probably a waste of time. Here's our last 12 potions. I've really been enjoying the unfinished potions. I've done them in the past, just not in this series, and it has been a while, so I didn't really remember how much I liked them because they're a little bit AFK, but they are kind of quick money at the same time, so that's always a bonus. But now that we have all 2,000 of them done, we can grab these and go ahead and sell them in the grain exchange. Hopefully they don't take too long to sell, but I do want to sell them at a decent price because I'm not buying anything. What am I doing? I do want to sell them at a decent price because that makes a decent profit. It's kind of how it works. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this number, as I've said before, I'm just grabbing it from the OS Buddy exchange. Hold up. I know it starts with 7. 7,750. That's going to give us like a 250 coin profit per potion. So 7,780 is what I'm going for because I think it'll sell eventually, but it's just going to take some time. This is going to give us 280 coin profit per potion, which is going to be like a 560k total profit. Now that they have sold, I have the total 15 mil, 15 plus however much, to add to our stack, and that's going to put us at 76 mil. And how much of 76 mil? 76.7 mil. Looking good. Alright everybody, what we're going to do in this episode is turn some flax into bowstring, which we have done many times before. This will be our last time. This is going to be part of a top 10 moneymakers that we've used in this series that I'm going to be going over the next 10 episodes. So this is clearly our number 10. We're not starting with the number 1. Bowstrings was not our number 1 moneymaker, do not worry. But I'm buying some flax to go do the bowstrings. I'll talk about the top 10 idea in a minute. Now that we have at least 1,000 of the 10,000 I'm going to buy, I'll head over to Lumbridge Castle and we can start making some bowstrings. Alright everybody, so as I mentioned before, we are going to be doing a top 10 thing for the next 10 episodes. It's not necessarily going to be the top 10 money makers as in most money made, but really just my personal top 10. For each moneymaker, I'm basically just going to talk about the pros and cons for a little bit, and then give some rates that I got while I was doing them. As you can see, bowstrings made it as our number 10. So I'm going to be doing 10,000 bowstrings during this episode. It might seem a little ridiculous to do 10,000 bowstrings, but usually I do 5,000 and it takes half an episode. So if I'm doing the entire episode, I'm going to do 10,000. I'm going to start off with the cons because I would like to end on a good note. So you might as well start with the bad things and end with the good ones. The biggest one is there's really not a lot of ways to change it up. Something like fire orbs, once I got 80 agility, that got a lot quicker because I now had a new shortcut to use. You can get your agility up to make crafting go a little bit quicker because then you don't run out of run or need to use stamina potions. So that would increase the speed a little bit, but it really is the only way to increase the speed at all, and it's not that big of a change. The other con would be that it is a low amount of money per hour. I'm going to talk about exactly how much in just a minute, but it's definitely not our best amount of money. It's not terrible. If I wasn't making any money from it, I wouldn't be doing it at all. Let's move on to the pros though. There's a lot more of those, and probably on purpose just to make it sound a little better. First positive thing about bowstrings I would have to say is it's AFK. You guys all know that I really like AFK, so this could easily be in the cons section if you are not a fan of it. But again, this was my personal top 10. I really enjoy the AFK, as I've said a million times, because I can then do other things while I'm playing RuneScape. I like to multitask, and that is very helpful when I don't have to pay attention the entire time. I don't want it to be extremely AFK, something, I guess if it's really AFK it still works for me too, but then sometimes it can get boring. In this case, it's probably about a 40-second break, and that's kind of a perfect amount of time for me, so that's why I like doing bowstrings a lot, as you guys have noticed. The next pro would be crafting XP. It's not a lot of experience, but I will give you that rate in just a minute. It's faster than rune crafting was though, and I was willing to get to 75 rune crafting. I'm not saying I'm about to get to 75 crafting, don't worry. But if I was willing to get to 75 rune crafting, I could do 75 crafting no problem if it's a little faster. And that's kind of a key level for Slayer rings if I wanted to do Slayer in the future. Now there are much faster ways to get crafting XP. I'm not saying you should do this to train crafting, but the fact that you're making money while getting some crafting XP is really where the bonus is. If you're willing to spend money, or you have the money to spend is probably the bigger if, then you should spend it to get faster XP. The next positive thing about crafting bowstrings would be that it takes a very low requirement. You only need 10 crafting for it. If you don't have 10 crafting, it really only takes you like 3 minutes to get there, so it's definitely worth it. It also takes a low money requirement to start. Flax prices always range from 10 to 14 coins, maybe even up to 16, but if it's 16 coins a piece, you could usually wait like an hour and then it'll drop back down to 13. So it's really cheap to buy some flax. Ooh, by the way, just got 61 crafting. It's really cheap to buy some flax, and you don't make a ton of money if you only buy 10 flax and then make 10 bowstring, but that brings you to 1K, and now you can buy 100 flax and do it again. They're also very simple to do. You only have to buy one type of item, and then go to Lumbridge, which everyone has a home port for, so it's very easy to get there. Just run up and down from the bank to this little wheel, spinning wheel, excuse me, make them to bowstrings so you get a new item, just one item still. Then you have to run back up to Varrock unless you can teleport, but even if you can't teleport, it really only takes like 3 or 4 minutes to run to Varrock. It's not too bad. And then when you finally get to sell them back in the Grain Exchange, you get like a 900% profit from it. And all this only required 10 crafting. It's pretty good. It's not very fast compared to other ones, I understand. But it's pretty good. I like it. This is why it only made number 10. It barely made the list. There were a couple things that could have made the list. This one did. Now I'm going to talk about the rates. The experience rates that I were getting were about 24k XP an hour. This is because I would do just under 1,400 bowstrings an hour. I could get up to 1,400 at a time, but I would say I averaged 24k XP an hour. Now that's really not fast at all when you think of it, but like I said before, it's about making money while getting the XP is a nice thing. If you're just trying to get 99 crafting, you don't want to do this. This will take forever. But if you want to make some money and you don't mind if you get up to 70, maybe 75 crafting, and it helps you out a little bit, then this is probably the one for you. I would average about 130k profit an hour, which is not nearly as much as running Natures or even running Laws or Cosmics, but it's still pretty good for an AFK, first of all, and for the low requirements again. So if this is the first thing you do and you're already making 130k an hour, it does require membership, so if you're trying to save up for a bond, it doesn't make sense. But if you're at a point where you basically have no money and you have very low levels and you can make 130k an hour, whatever item you're probably trying to save up for couldn't take that long to make that much money. So this is really good for a lower level. Now I know I'm not a lower level anymore and I have a lot of money, but I do enjoy it. The AFK is probably my favorite part. I'll say it a million times. You guys are going to hear that a million times over the next 10 episodes, and not because every top 10 is going to be AFK. Do not worry. That is going to wrap it up for our discussion on bowstrings, though. The next time you guys see me, I'll be finishing up these 10,000 bowstrings. Alright everybody, we are on our final load of bowstrings. It did take a pretty good amount of time, but it was worth it. I made a good amount of money from it. I think we're going to get it right around 1 mil from it, which I'm always happy about. I got a lot of stuff done while the AFK was in progress, so I'll say it again. No, I'm just kidding. I won't say it again this time. But now that we're done with all 10,000 of them, I am going to run up to the Grain Exchange so we can sell them, look at our cash stack, and then move on to the next moneymaker. So I will meet all of you at the Grain Exchange. Alright everybody, here we are safe and sound at the Grain Exchange. We're going to be selling 10k bowstrings. I'm going to sell them for a good price, hopefully. I might drop it down a couple coins, but if they don't sell immediately, I will wait on this one. So let's see what they're at right now. 105. I'm actually going to go with 105. I like that. So I will wait and see how much money we make. Alright, they have sold, and I'm going to grab them out of here. It actually didn't take long. It was only about 45 seconds, maybe a minute. But now that we have this 1 mil to put in, let's see what it brings us to. Looks like 77 mil, and it's 77.6 mil. Not too bad. Alright everybody, for this in-between episodes, I am going to be going back to Puro and doing some impling hunting. I will not be catching implings for the money. I will be going for, well, I will be catching implings, but I will be trading them in for jars, and I will be trying to collect jars for the money. I will be catching magpies if I see them, because that's the most valuable one that I can catch, but otherwise I'm just going for the jars for the profit. I could probably sell them for like 800 coins a piece right now, so I'm definitely liking the look of it. But I am going to meet you guys at Puro, so that's where I'll see you next. Alright everybody, first thing I did when getting into Puro, I caught 3 gourmets, 2 earth, and a single essence impling. I am going to get this magic butterfly net, which does increase my chance of catching the implings, so I definitely should have gotten it earlier. Well, not really, we haven't done very many of them, but now that I'm planning on doing more of them, I needed it. So that's what I got first. But then after running to the bank and dropping off my old net, I started to catch the implings needed to get the impling jar generator, which would be 1 nature, 2 eclectic, and 3 essence. And then whenever I saw a magpie, I would catch it because that was an extra 13k. But this is basically the plan. I will see you guys at the beginning of the next episode when I will have, I think I'm going for about 400 impling jars. I want to thank you guys for watching today's video and helping support the channel. If you enjoyed the video, we would appreciate it if you would hit that like button and tell us what you liked about it in the comments section below. If you're looking for more videos like this one, then go ahead and join the cul-de-sac by clicking that subscribe button and follow us on Twitter at @TheEdBoys. All links are in the description.